In a world where the most popular video games are online, there exists a better class of criminal.
Not again! Don't do it! Please.
Rogues who refuse to play by the digitally coded rules.
You can't shoot! What the fuck is this?
One friendly remaining. 5 seconds.
Villains who can be as absurd as they are disruptive.
I just killed the cheater.
No, you didn't!
Well,
Yeah, you did!
bro, what the fuck, dude? Who the fuck did I just kill? Yo.
We're talking, of course, about hackers.
Bro! This fucking guy's cheating!
Hacking was seemingly first used to describe experts in early programming in the 60s. But the sort of hacking you'd probably recognize really came together in the 80s, both in reality and with the advent of cyberpunk.
In my senior year, I went to class and the first assignment was to write a program to find the first 100 Fibonacci numbers. Instead, I wrote a program to steal passwords. And the teacher was so taken aback with this program that I got an A and a lot of attaboys, and the ethics taught when I was in high school was it was okay to hack.
As technology improved, hacking became the art of breaking into secured systems. It was seen as a kind of counterculture, led by a group of rebellious pranksters who understood the laws of the internet and how to break them better than their suit-wearing rivals. But it wasn't just movies of the 80s and 90s that were fetishizing hackers. RPGs and video games were also proliferating their cool image.
You gotta get out of here, dude.
But I've got nerves of steel.
Anyway, that's how hacking became a cultural phenomenon. But how did it start to affect video games? Well, for as long as button inputs have existed, developers have included hidden cheat codes to give players strange ways to enjoy their games. But in the 90s, devices like the Game Shark and Game Genie emerged, enabling players to actually modify game data, whether it was invincibility, infinite lives, or unlocking hidden characters.
Game Genie! I use it when I want to live forever. Play to the end and win. Maybe I want to start on level 15. No problemo.
Nintendo even tried to sue the various regional Game Genie distributors, claiming that the device infringed on their copyright. But they lost that battle.
Please! God damn it! Hate this hacker crap!
Anyway, by the end of the 90s, tampering with a game's code transformed from a harmless pastime into a genuine threat to its competitive integrity. Online multiplayer titles like StarCraft and Counter-Strike were among the earliest to showcase the growing hacking problem. Basically, everyone who played CS back then encountered a hacker. For some people, hacking was even seen as cool, a kind of pranksterish trolling that made people freak out until an admin arrived to deal with it. Hacker clans like MyGod became notorious for ruining people's games and harassing their victims when they got upset. The reactions to hacking were immortalized in the actually pretty fucked up Flash video, I Hate You, MyGod 2.
Oh my god, you fucking loser! I know you hack!
The infamous hacker group even duped gullible fools into thinking they could join by baking cakes that said, "My God owns me." This, of course, was a lie and just another way to own people. While using custom software to gain an advantage was annoying, that was pretty much the extent of it. At the time, while some servers had leaderboards, there were no in-client competitive ranked modes for games, so hacking was mostly a prank.
Oh, okay, it's just a prank.
There we go.
Early esports competitions just did what they could. People could be accused of cheating, but coming up with definitive proof was harder. In esports, hackers weren't using obvious cheats that turned them into spinning sniper rifle tops of destruction. They were doing what became known as legit hacking, a term that arose in the early 2010s to describe the use of advantageous tools like aimlock that were subtle enough to go undetected. By the mid-2000s, anti-cheat systems like VAC and Punkbuster had been introduced to clamp down on hackers, but even they weren't foolproof. Essentially, there was an arms race going on between the people creating the hacking tools and the game developers and fan communities that wanted competitive integrity.
What a horrible place this is. It's not fair.
That's right! It's not fair!
But these games are complex pieces of software with many potential vulnerabilities. And as esports prize pools continued to grow, hacking became an increasingly serious problem. Hackers began selling their game-breaking wares to players who weren't interested in playing by the same rules as everyone else. And thanks to the number of hackers out there today, people are quick to throw around cheating accusations in esports. In late 2014, the Counter-Strike Global Offensive community was racked by a series of competitive player bans through Valve anti-cheat. Some were banned mid-game.
Lone Wolf with the AWP. He's out in the Russian wilderness just sniping.
Did Emilio just get vac banned? Oh God! What did we just see?
Yeah.
Others, like Cali, left their team and their competition in terrible situations out of game.
What the fuck? He was playing with Titan. What the fuck? He took my fucking place.
Perhaps the highest profile incident was more recent though. Optic India's star player Forsaken was caught using an aimbot at Extremes Land Asia, disguised on his computer as word.exe.
As you can see here, the locking is very similar to what happens over at the B site earlier on the game when he locks on the guy's back. Except this is even more blatant because not only is he locking on the guy, he's locking on the guy and following him through the box.
Many fans believed that using hacks at a LAN was impossible, so when it turned out that Forsaken had done it before, it shook the scene's faith in tournament organizers. Forsaken was slapped with a 5-year ban from the eSports Integrity Coalition, which partners with companies like ESL and DreamHack. He even gave an interview where he said he thought his decision-making was very good, but he wasn't confident in his aim, which is why he started hacking.
Not only are you a cheat, you're a gutless cheat as well.
Okay, so clearly hacking is a threat to esports, but how can it affect you when you're just playing your favorite game? CSGO specifically had big issues when the game went free to play. The cost of getting caught became the time it took to make a new account. Scripts in League of Legends can be surprisingly disruptive. They can show where champions are, give millisecond perfect ability casts, and even help evade skill shots. And today, there are ranked matchmaking queues in nearly every popular online title, which means that hackers throw off the balance, or even get paid to boost people using their cheats. Developers continue to fight back though. For example, Ubisoft recently implemented a rollback system that reverses the result of any match with a proven hacker. And while initiatives like this are a step in the right direction, the Siege community still hopes that more can be done.
It's horrible. Something needs to happen really bad about it. I mean, high elo gameplay, it happens at least 3 times out of 10 games. Ubisoft really needs to crack down on that.
It's getting progressively worse, and I don't know whether that's on Ubi's back end or just hackers are finding more and more innovative ways, or even the YouTubers that do the Siege glitch videos.
So I think what they're doing now, from what I'm seeing, is going after the people who are getting boosted and some of the root causes of the hacking, and not necessarily the hacks themselves. And I think that could be the right avenue here because, again, it's at the end of the day, it's a cat and mouse game. I never think that you're going to completely eradicate it from any PC game, but if you can get rid of the people who want to do it and the reasons for them to want to do it, then that'll be a better situation.
As it stands, hackers look to remain an infuriating part of all our favorite games for the foreseeable future. And although there's no single solution for getting rid of them, most developers and communities continue to fight side by side to minimize their chances of ruining our fun. Well, we could have gone a lot more in-depth than we did, but that seems like a pretty good...
Miles is obviously the better host.
Miles? Aren't you supposed to be hosting the show?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Laughing creepily by yourself. Touché.
If you caricature Josh, and I admit it's a caricature, if you caricature Josh, it very quickly becomes this, like, not to say California surfer, but something not far. Don't make this the N-word. I'm sure there will be better things for the N-word.